Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. Thank you so much for inviting me into your life, guys. So good to share some energy with you. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and we're going to get right into it. It's not about what you want. It's about what you deserve. Empath, in a world. I feel like I'm starting one of those movie soundtracks. In a world. In a world where we have overgiven and people pleased and lived in our codependency, we can often think that we don't deserve to have reciprocity. And your angel said, please dispel this fallacy for the collective, because you deserve everything that you're asking for. What I want you to understand is that sometimes the way that you're asking for it, or the persons that you're asking for it from, may not be able to sign, seal, and deliver on whatever that is. They won't be able to get it done. But please do not let them gaslight you out of thinking that you don't deserve it, because you do. It's not just about what you want, it's about what's also wanting you. One of my favorite things that my sister beat into my head in her own special way was, the thing you want is wanting you. And it helped me to embark on so many beautiful adventures in my life, because instead of waiting till the moment or the friend or the person or the opportunity or the plane ticket was just right, I started to welcome in what wanted me as well. You have to be careful, because your energy is delicious. You are up in the spiritual gym just working on your fitness, right? So when we're working out, people find us to be more attractive, physically. Well, the same is true for your spirituality. Empaths, earth angels, we work out emotionally and spiritually all the time. So to the narcissists and to toxic people and to takers and to opportunists, we looking mighty fine. You need to understand that, okay? We looking like a whole meal and a whole snack energetically. And what they want to do is take that for free, because who doesn't love anything that's not free? And they think you're for free because they judge your recovering codependency and also previous people pleasing and things that you have leaned into, and they think they can so easily snatch, steal, and take from you. It is not about the thing that you want, it is about the thing that you're deserving. And I know, because I'm human too, that when in all of these new opportunities to ask for what I deserve, that people can still look at me in the way that I showed up. Especially people that have that more sinister and toxic side will be like, oh, looking like I saw a lick. They feel like it's a opportunity, like a salt lick, like a horse is licked the salt. They feel like they will siphon and get all the nutrition from up out of your edifice, your soul, and your spirit, and then make you feel like you should be grateful for them using you. That's what toxic people, low vibrational people, people that have been body snatched by demons will do. They're going to try to brainwash you into thinking that you should be grateful because they're using you. When you are the saltiest salt that they ever did lick, you are the most of whatever, the best of whatever, and it actually did stick. And they want you to feel like you should feel grateful for being their sidekick. They want to turn you into the sidekick. Toxic people definitely have main character syndrome, for sure. And here's the thing, empath, you get to be your own main character. You've worked too hard not to. That's why I'm saying, don't let someone bamboozle you out of what you deserve because they don't want to. Because they see your worth and they're extracting from you exactly what they want, but they are absolutely not willing. And they're almost indignant. In fact, not almost, they are. Indignant and entitled, which is so fascinating to me, because they see you and they're like, I should just get this for free. You look like you should have low self-esteem. I see people pleasing on you and codependency, and sometimes the universe will allow us to be cloaked, because really in our spirit it's a big old nope. N-O-P-E. They want them to maybe get closer so that they can feel like they're going to get it for free, and then gaslight you into thinking that you should be groveling at their feet, when really it's the biggest come up and the best lick that they ever did see, get, or have access to. Don't let people rob you of what you are deserving of just because they fucking want to. That is your message for today. So many people will be in your face and play, and then try to convince you it should always be this way. and try to convince you of whatever hierarchy that's fuckery in their head, that you should be kowtowing and observing that instead. And forfeiting all of the work you did do and all of the tears you did cry to get you through, and all of the times you said bye, bye, bye to all of the people that were always trying to chomp and take little bites out of you. You did your work, empath. You put in your time. You prayed on your knees time after time. You are now crowned and you are divine. Don't let anybody play in your face and waste your time and then try to convince you that what they owe you is maybe a dime when they really have a bill that's accrued, when they really should be reciprocal and be actually sowing and feeding back into you. And here's the thing, because I believe in fair being fair, with the Mars and Libra, it could never be anywhere else but there for me. People are allowed to not sign up for your mission. They are not, they're allowed to say, I can't give you what you deserve. I may see your worth or I may not see your worth, but I don't got it in my account to actually pay you. But what they're not allowed to do is try to extract the best yield from you and then gaslight you and then act like they don't have NSF fees, because we know what's true. We know what's true. People are always allowed to disembark. You're allowed to vote with your mouth. Empath, have you ever had someone make you an offer that you did want to refuse? You're allowed to choose. And other people in your life are allowed to choose. But what we are forgetting about our relationships is how transactional they really are. People want to think it's all light and love. It's not. Everyone comes in expecting something, and we give a lot. We overgive, okay? A lot of channeling earlier as I was doing another reading about Dark Moon and Lilith. And so what you need to understand with that is that you are being asked to rebalance the overgiving. Listen, it's a thing that we do, and the world calls it simping. When I love someone, I'm going to give to them. But when I realize that the basic minimum is something that they refuse to reciprocate, they refuse to allow me to extract, then it's time to get that monkey off of your back. Because that is a cycle that we get into. A lot of people will play this game with you where, and you guys, I counsel people every day that are with fuck boys and fuck girls that fritter their time away. The first hallmark of a fuck boy, fuck girl, toxic person, narcissist, you name it. Everyone is not always all of those things. But if they see you as a mark, then what hell it will bring. They will try to play you. And it's a test for you. It's a litmus test. It's a spiritual journey. And so the hallmark is they waste your time. Because they know that you're divine. They know that they're getting a little bit of a peripheral shine, proximal shine. And they know that they really don't want you to be anyone else's. In their heart, you're mine. You're theirs. Does that make sense? Which is fine. But are they going to pony up? Are they going to fill your cup? And usually they are not. You are breadcrumbed. One of the songs that comes to mind for this is a song by a creator here on TikTok. I think her name is Elyse. And she says, the first line of the song catch me. She's like, unhinged, your love is unhinged. She was like, you lied about me to all your friends. You said that I was obsessed and lied to them because you were like drunk texting me in the middle of the night. Like, you know what I mean? Call me at 2 a.m. And you kept me, what did she say? You kept me close with a maybe when you really meant no because you wanted me close. That part. When I heard that, my angels have been working with me in the last couple months, 3 months, very specifically. And when I heard that, they were like, you listening? The collective needs to learn this. Unfortunately, they always have me walk through what I'm learning. But that part for sure is something we all can relate to. You kept me close with a maybe when you really meant no. A lot of people really mean no. But they want you to be their hoe. Does that make sense? And they will gaslight you and flip it and reverse it and act like it is something that it really actually isn't. For some people, it might be their first taste of power. For some people, you may be one of the many empaths they have devoured. For some people, they're just trying something because you seem like you're weak. You seem like you're meek. So they think that they can take you because you are simple sheep. But hell fucking no. That's not a prize they get to keep. Because it's not a prize they did earn, but it's something that you deserve. A lot of us are worried about asking for what we're worth and asking for what we deserve. My angels allow me to do a lot of math and really assess things with the clients that I work with and in my own life. And what I find is that these people that are trying to take advantage of you could never and would never with other people. It is something very specific to the empath experience. When I think about what little bit they actually got in their other connections, and I look at what I counsel you guys through, what I counsel myself through, I think the world's gone mad. I find it kind of crazy. I find it kind of sad. I'm channeling Mad World. When people run in circles, it's a really, really mad world. It's a really strange thing. The chaos that we allowed some of these energies to bring, and all they have to do is disembark. You're allowed to say yes or no. This is something that I know when I'm working with my clients. Everyone has been rejected. Everyone has rejected someone. We are humans. Each one of us, no matter what we look like, size, color, or creed, has shot a shot and missed it, or had a shot at us that we wanted to dodge and miss. Does that make sense? We on the Matrix, right? So that's what we all have, is the ability to be honest. But someone that wants to con you is not going to do that, sis. They're not going to just be honest with you and make it so simple, because then it would be thank you next, you move on, and there is less of a mess. The reason we get into the mess is because we stick and stay, and that's the game that con artists like to play. They want you to be invested and involved long enough so that your emotions get hooked in, because then by the time you realize that they're not giving you what you're deserving and what is meagerly fair, they're hoping you're going to stick in there, cowgirl. You're going to stick in there, cowboy. Giddy up. Let's keep riding on this fuck up cup, because they are banking on our empath emotions being so invested into their fuckery that we will never, on some Eight of Swords shit, if you read tarot, realize that we are the ones that can set ourselves free. While it looks like it's bound, it's not actually tied. And if we want to get out, we can ride into the night. That's what you guys need to understand. They don't want you to know that. And the long game that they're playing is that you're so invested. That's the kryptonite of the empath and anybody else, really, is that level of investment that you won't walk away from it. They're praying for that. They're like, maybe by the time she realizes that I'm on some fuck shit and that I never meant it, and not only did I not mean it, but my whole intention the whole time was to see what free shit I could siphon. That's the thing that they don't want from you. The thing that they don't want you to know, so that you stick around, so they can do whatever fuckery they want to do, which is really deplete you, which is really put you in the most bottom basic level of fuckboy training that they could ever do, where they're trying to mind fuck you into believing that you owe them gratitude. Y'all know exactly what I'm saying. I hear the amens. I hear the horses braying and neighing. You guys know exactly. I got the horses in the back. That's what I just heard. I hear y'all at the saloon, at the OK Corral. They got friends in low places, which are demons. Does that make sense? Where the whiskey flows and the beer chases their conscience away. They like to play, but we got angels in higher realms, and they know that there's a spirit master at the helm, and we don't get played, not in the same way, and it costs them something karmically. I rue the day and pity the fool on some Mr. T shit for people that like to get in the mix and play with it. Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it when it comes to my earth angels. Because what they don't realize is that most of us are so gracious and so fair. We offer many chances for them to get out of there and do it with care. Handle with care to escape and just to be honest. But when they continue to play in your face, that's when the demons that they wanted to stick on you are on it. Because the thing about devilry is it always takes its pound of flesh. You wanted to play reindeer games with this earth angel. We're not even allowed to touch this earth angel, is what the demons tell them later. We're not even allowed to touch them, but you thought it was going to be a fun game, so now you owe us. We thought you were going to have them wrapped up. We thought you was going to get that lasso over their ass and take them down. What happened? Giddy up. You were the best cowboy or cowgirl in town. I thought you was going to take them down. This simple heifer. They thought you were a simple heifer. They thought you were just their moo cow. They thought you were their cash cow. They thought that somehow the tired shit that they love to do was going to actually work on you. And some of you so gracefully outsmarted them, because that's how it was always meant to be. But the thing about it is, what happens to them because of their fuckery? Well, we can do karma readings and we can talk about it, but please know they will have to answer for it. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing you need to know. A lot of you guys that did get invested and that were emotionally invested, you want your pound of flesh back. But what you need to know is that person never cared about you. I wish you could know that, because it would make the disconnect so much easier for you. And again, I never talk to you about something that I don't walk through. It would make the disconnect so much easier for you if you understood that they had demon time work to do. They were dispatched in to fuck with you. They were allowed, sanctioned, like Job was allowed to be tested in the Bible, to see if they can get you off your path, to see if they could have you down bad, to see if they could put you in their twisted, turny, mindfuckery boot camp of, you should be grateful for me. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light that these people in your life were never that bright. Here's the deal. You should have never been grateful, but you were absolutely allowed to ask for what you deserve. And I don't want you to trick yourself out of the new connections that come in and think that someone else won't understand and see your worth. Not everyone in the world is toxic. That's what my angels say. Sometimes I be looking at them like, are you sure about that? Because day after day after day, there isn't a client that I don't counsel or an experience that I don't go through myself where I'm like, how many of them are there? How many more times? Do not allow them to gaslight you. My favorite thing, and the thing that I hear all the time from some of my clients, and when I tell you guys, I have the most gorgeous clients. I go through the things I go through, but I have a level of expectation that because of the conventional way that America feels about people that look like me, and I'm talking about in every realm and possibility, brown, tall, big, this, that, speaking, words, articulate. I offend so many. So I understand that people will discriminate and treat me away, because that has just been my life, you know? And sometimes I'm sent in really lovely people too. It's not all the worst things in the world. But some of y'all out there that I have counseled are actual literal models, pageant winners, all of the conventional things that the world says, and you're still dealing with this. When the whole conversation about Risa Tisa, who the F did I marry, came up, and the conversation was like, this is big back behavior from Charlemagne, acting as though big girls were the only ones who get defamed and played. No, we see basketball wives. We see heads of state. We see Giselle Bundchen and everybody else. People get played that are freaking the epitome of what gorgeous is. So don't think that what you're asking for is too much, sis. I don't care what body you're in. I don't care what your BMI is. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if your teeth aren't fixed. I don't care if you don't wear makeup, if you all natural, sis. I don't care if it's you locked up. I don't care if you're blonde and blue. I don't care if you just got a fresh foil and you're doing you. These people will come into your life if you're an empath. That's all they care about. How can I get you? How can I trick you into thinking you should give me way more than I've ever deserved, and also way more than I've ever gotten from anybody else? Message, a lot of the stuff that you gave to some of these people in your life was more than they've ever had in their whole life. And one of the things that people that are toxic and low vibrational will do is be highly suspicious and disdainful of you. And then they, with their tribe and friends and family, because they always have to come in a tribe, right? We're always by ourselves, but they need a whole a gang of folk, right? So they validate it, they Twitter, they make you the butt of the jokes. Earth angels, you can relate, nod your head, yep. They make you the butt of the jokes. It's all so funny. Look at what this stupid ass simp is doing for me. That is always retributed karmically. Don't you worry your pretty little heads about it. I don't. I take it for intel. I'm on my Taylor Swift. I document it because it becomes a gift. And we're fantastic at transmuting manure and shit. So, do not be afraid to ask for what you deserve. Do not think that what you're asking for is so outlandish. In my life specifically, there are things that I require and need for the work and the energy that I put out, and it is not abnormal. And again, to be so fair, everyone can always say yes, no, I'm in the clear. You are allowed to say yes or no. Everybody that buys you a drink is not someone for whom you're going to turn into a magical evening hoe, right? That's not how that goes. That's not how any of this goes. But what happens with these people that are toxic and opportunistic is that they will try to get as much as they can get because they love a good old grift. Why would they ever give you anything that they promise? And it's not even about their body. In my situation, very specifically, what I really wanted was honesty and communication and connection, truly. But I didn't want to be played with because that doesn't feel fair. And when I feel like something's not fair, then my angels and ancestors ride at dawn over there to wherever the person who has done me wrong is. It's above me at that point, to my good sirs and sisses. I can't do anything about it. I tried to save you, and many of you guys try to save them too. Try to talk to them, try to reason with them, try to ask them clarifying questions. But a person that's conning you doesn't feel the need to give you that clarity because they actually don't have emotions connected to you. Actually, empath. And that's the thing that's really hard to hear. A lot of my clients really wrestle with that. But as soon as you realize that they not only didn't like you, do you remember that coldness that comes over them when they finally admit their agenda the whole time, or they finally say something and their eyes go black, and or they click out, or it's like, I don't know who this person is, what happened to the sweet whatever, or the kind, thoughtful, or the charming, fill in the blank for whatever your guy or girl was. And then all of a sudden it's like the mask falls. Last night I was driving home. I couldn't sleep, and I went out for a midnight drive, and there were two raccoons that were skittering by, and one of them saw me and was said to his friend, "Quick, hide!" And he tried to run up the tree, but he peeked around and looked at me. It was kind of adorable because raccoons are adorable. But that's how these F-boys and F-girls behave. They act like you can see them. He's a raccoon. With my light shining on him, he couldn't be the thing that stood out more. And his buddy was like, "Let me just walk over here because I don't know what this girl has in store, but also I think she could see you." And I could absolutely see him. That's the absurdity of what happens. But you see how I've been able to laugh about that? That's so cute. Look at you trying to hide. You could never. But when you get emotionally invested, which is what they're banking on. Do y'all watch The Tinder Swindler? Did y'all watch Bad Vegan? When people want you to be invested into them, they know that your emotional, rational self will not, the emotional and rational selves are mutually exclusive. When you're like, but I care about them and I don't want to hurt their feelings, they don't have feelings for you. That's what you need to understand. They never liked you. And one of the things that my angels are so gracious with me about, because of the work that I do, it doesn't matter what land of limerence or limerence lake I might be swimming in, they always let my higher self understand what danger I'm in when I'm around somebody like that. Because it's just for intel. It's just for me to gather the facts. I'm a scientist. It sucks, but hey, I'm out here taking these bullets for you. I'm happy to do it, but it sucks too because I'm human. But when I'm in that situation, there has just never been a time that I haven't said to whoever was at my watering station trying to suck up all my water and lick up all my salt licks, "You don't even like me, good sir or good sis." And they would be incensed and start to manipulate. The tears would flow and the acts would be great because they did not want me to feel or see that I was just a muse in their NPC reality. Does that make sense? Stealing, so good. Opportunism, so good. They did not want me to see. I'm a cowgirl. I'm a cowgirl on that bullshit. They did not want me to see. Coming from behind the tree, bright as night, with the light, with the bandana on their eyes. I'm the bandit. Surprise, surprise. It's hilarious to me. But that is how obvious it will be. And even my higher self could not let me be in the limerence lake or the love bombing sea. My higher self, my crown chakra, that's why I say keep yourself grounded, stay woke. People creeping. Stay woke. Do not be sleeping, because the longer you sleep and the more you're away and you're singing a love song on Lullaby Bay, you will be limerence out of all of your shit. And it may not be about your financial blessings and gifts. It's about your actual integrity. It's about your peace of mind. It's your sanity. It's anxiety. It's about the personal feeling that you find. They will take all of that from you in their fuck girl, fuck boy boot camp because it's their favorite thing to do. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Hey, and another one, and another one, another one bites the dust. And as soon as they get into their groove and they're singing, it's going to be what Biggie said, a lot of slow singing and flower bringing, because it's actually their funeral that they're attending. The shovel that they use to try to bury you and to snow you and to pull the wool over your eyes will be applied to them too, but by someone that they actually care about. And that may be hard for you to hear. But it's actually one of my favorite things that sets me free is when I know that they never cared about me, that I'm not invested in the con anymore, because my empath heart can sometimes not differentiate. For a moment, I get lost. But I will tell you, when I realize it, it happens right away. And I'm going to walk you through and teach you about it. But I am saying this to you because you deserve to have what you want. Risa Tisa deserves to have the dream. And someday she'll be with someone who will give it to her, no matter how big her back may seem. That's the thing, y'all. Do not let your issues, disabilities, weight, your gorgeousness. I have gorgeous clients that are like, no one will talk to me because I'm pretty. Like, girl, everyone has their cross to bear. But a low vibrational person will see you over there, and they will see which particular cross to bear, and they're perfect at assessing it and trying to pick you apart and pointing out things and starting to devalue you. And all of a sudden, this person that was so magically enchanted by you is making you seem like there's nothing right you could do. We've all been in this. From narcissists on down to just lower grade energy vampires. Whatever the moniker is, you know what I'm saying. They never retire. What they want you to do is retire from your common sense. What they want you to do is to put all of the control into their hands. What they want to do is give you the least amount for what they promise and just keep running their mouth, because that's their favorite thing to do. And some of you guys, they never have maybe done anything like that fully to anyone else. Not fully. Maybe you were one of the first ones. Or maybe they are very well practiced and absolutely cunning. And that was not those two raccoons' first time doing a midnight run. Okay? They were well practiced at that, son. They have done that before. That is their hobby. It is their occupation. It is how they feed themselves. They are scavengers. And that's exactly what these vampires and toxic people and narcissists are. Everyone's not a narc. I cannot give everyone that bar. I cannot say that. But I can say that toxicity exists in us all. We all have a duality and a duplicity. And there's something about us sweet empaths that makes people think, oh, I will eat them up so easily. Those are some of my favorite cases to take on, because I understand. Whether they ever understand, because they will also convince themselves that they're not actually wrong. They will convince themselves that you deserve whatever is happening to you. But no matter how wild the configuration of your ask is, your deserve is, you deserve it, boo. You can have it. I wish I could disclose some of the situations that I counsel for with people. People ask for wild things. People are in the strangest relationship configurations. Mine is unique in and of itself. But it doesn't mean that I don't deserve exactly what I've asked for. And again, it doesn't mean someone doesn't get to vote a yes or no. But it does mean that if you're not going to play by the rules of the game, that you tell whomever the person is so. That's not something that needs to be said to my collective. You guys understand that implicitly. You understand how the world works and how fairness should be. But to those narcs and opportunists, they will take advantage of every single thing and act like they didn't understand that there was always a way to opt out or opt in, and then act like they had no other choice and that you weren't listening, when really they were busy beguiling, projecting, and lying, because it was fun. Because it was so much easier to extract from you exactly what they wanted to when they weren't being clear with their communication. and then convincing you that what you're asking for was just too big, too tall of an order, too big of a thing. It's not. Because for the right person, everyone will. You know, I did a cord cutting recently here that was virtual. That was parasocial cord cutting. Thank you for those of you that watched that. But in it, I said if they wanted to, they would. Which is something we hear all the time on TikTok and all that stuff. This is not anything I made up. But what I will tell you is this. If people want to, they will. How many people have you loved in your life that they could get an exceptional thing from you? But what I want to normalize is that what you're asking for isn't that exceptional. It was exceptional to whoever it was withholding because that's a power trip that they were playing. Empath, you need to realize that for a lot of the people whose lives that you're in, you might be one of the most interesting opportunities and fascinating things. For whatever configuration you show up, you go in, you fill up cups. I know you because I work with you every day. I know you because I know me in the same way. And you will be the talk of the town. That's what I'm just hearing. And it means that you're battling community and tribe and parents and siblings and all this bullshit, and it body jumps and you're like, how did I get here again? And for what? For them, for these people that have no real joy in their life to assess you and think that they're right. My favorite thing that happens with my clients is when the universe steps in with the usher eyes and says, watch this. Their life will be the testament to what never was there in the first place. And sometimes you are dispatched in to help raise the vibrations and help them save face or help them to learn about spirituality. Or it's for them to help teach you too. It's not always one-sided. Sometimes these people come in with their own giftings. That's why some of you guys were attracted to them. I don't believe that everyone was just fully a con man. But I believe that entities and devils jump in and jump out like double dutch. Jump in, jump out. Introduce yourself. My name is Legion. Yeah, like that part. Yeah. I believe that that's exactly what happens. I believe that some people really come in and mean it, but then they allow, with their weak asses, their tribe and being snide, and then also maybe their own fucking ego and pride. For my good sisters and good sirs that have had anybody discriminate against you and try to act like you don't understand your worth because society says your worth should be something else when they know goddamn well exactly what it is and what it isn't and what they've never seen before in their life, do not be caught in that mental prison. Because that's exactly what they wanted you to do so that they could ride away with all of your shit for free and act like you should be so grateful I spent time with you. Actually, fuck them. That's what you need to hear today. They will play in your face and act like you didn't deserve not just bare minimums, but equanimity, equality. You deserve all of that, and that's the way that it will be under the sound of my voice for anybody. If you've ever had a fuck boy or fuck girl play with you completely and totally, know that you will have exactly what it is that you asked for while they are living in depravity. It never fucking fails, guys. They never miss. Your angels, your ancestors never miss. And actually, I want you to give thanks. Light some ancestor money. Put some food on that altar. Say a prayer if you don't have an altar there. Because your ancestors and angels were talking to you the whole time because they care. The whole time. I want you to think about any of your most toxic, malignant narcissists or most crafty, cunning coverts or low vibrational, barflies, whatever, you name it. And you remember the whole time that they said, someone here thinks it's a game, sis, and it's not you. Someone thinks that you're a simp and that you're light work. It's going to be easy to take you and easy work to do. Someone's laughing with their friends and family. Someone's making you the butt of the jokes. Someone thinks this shit is sweet. Someone's wearing the shirt that says nope. It's never going to be exactly what they think, and it will be their karma to repay. Because an earth angel, they did come against with a pantheon of people watching. I pity the fool. Now it will be their undoing. That's not for you to worry about. My job today is to clean out whatever cobwebs at 444. They didn't want to put in the work. It was 3:44 on 34:44 on the clock when I said that. They didn't want to put in the work. They're lazy as fuck. And they wanted you to be stuck. That's the thing that my angels were so clear about with any of these messages that I get from my clients and any of the experiences that I had. That's why they did that limerence switch. Be as invested as possible. And hopefully, by the time you realize I'm not going to give you shit, you're just too invested. One of the things that I want you to pay attention to is when you feel disconnected. There was something that happened for me where I woke up in my situations where I was bored one day. And mental acuity, I'm a Gemini Venus, so being emotionally and mentally stimulated matters, okay? Also, how I'm attracted to a person matters too. And I notice with a lot of these situations in my life that the attraction will wear off within a couple of months. And here's what's so funny. I know, because of my size, that people would be judging me, but they didn't realize that works back and forth. Full reciprocity at all times. But when I realize that I'm not intellectually stimulated and I'm bored, then I'm like working my way out of it. And that's something that lower vibrational people never take into account because they think they're the most clever people in the room, that they're conning you, that they have you under their thumb, and that you are dumb. And that no one understands this, about everyone doesn't know what your kryptonite is, but people underestimating my intellect is like the gift and the curse for them, because that's when I'm the most incensed. Okay, it's not about the judgment on what I look like aesthetically. If you think I'm fucking stupid, then so it may be. Let's see. Let us find out and see how stupid I am, actually. But what I will tell you is this, guys. You are allowed to deserve and ask for what you want. But that was what they were hoping for, was that you would forget what you even went in for. And that you would start just giving and giving and over giving. Which is something that we can do. And it's something that I do too. The challenge is not just for you. It's for me too this year regarding how I show up in my connections. In all of my connections and all of my soulmate connections and all of my friendships. Maybe withholding is a lesson that I learned in my last several soulmate connections, because it's not that you get burned, but you always know. Meaning, I always get the whisper, I always confront, I always do the thing, and they're always trying to be on some limerancing, because that's their favorite thing to do. Me being stuck there is the best win for them, and for reasons they may not even understand. Guys, people don't even really understand what your energy does. They just know, like, I want to keep it. Does that make sense? They don't. That's the beautiful thing, is I'm very fortunate that some of these people didn't understand the gravity of it. In fact, what they do in their own, how do I say this? Allow them, as much as that's hurtful, because some of you guys think they really care about you. As soon as you realize they don't care about you, I just start watching them. Like, how long we gonna play this game? Giddy up. How long is it gonna go before? And then usually I have to click out, because my angels are like, okay, you got to get out of here before this gets like really toxic for you, or you get hurt at all. That's not what we have you here to do. Sometimes I'll be on some daredevil shit, and that's not what I'm supposed to do. And I don't think you are either. I've had enough toxic people in my life where I'm like, I know this guy. All right, what are we gonna do? But it doesn't. It's not healthy, guys. I will say, I've almost got my ass handed to me, especially about 4 years ago. I got out like just in the nick of time out of one of my connections, but that made me a little brazen. It's like a little arson. It's like, I played with this fire before, I know what it is. But you have to be careful, because sometimes that fire can burn you. The fortunate thing that I had that puts on fire retardant for me is I know they don't care about me. And I tell them the whole time. That's another thing. So they can look back and be like, that bitch didn't tell me the whole time that I didn't like her. and it's not that I'm like, you don't like me, why are you here? Reassure me. I'm just like, do you know you don't like me? Because this is really weird that you want me to be around, but you actually don't give a fuck about me. So I'm very verbal that way. And not everybody is, and a lot of my clients that come to me are not. You're never going to say that to your guy, to your girl, to your whatever. But again, taking the bullets out here, running across the hill first, it's something that I do, because It's true. Because when I'm observing it, it's true. I've been in long-term connections with people. I've never felt the need to say that. When I say that, it's because there is truth to what I'm saying. My higher self is protecting me. Your higher self is always protecting you too. That's what you need to know, is that your higher self is there to actually step in and make sure that you're okay, and to wash the demons away. At 3939, another angel number, okay? Especially when they want to come out to play and they think they're going to feast on your flesh and then try to discard you. It's their favorite absolute thing to do. So, no matter what status you ended up with, the rehabbing is the brainwashing that they were trying to put you through that you don't deserve. Some of y'all were asking for very simple, basic stuff too. Some of y'all were asking for the world. You deserve whichever end of it you were asking for, because they were trying to extract the world and the most from you. And people don't realize that when you show up in their life, you are the world. You are the world. You are the children. You are the ones who make a brighter day so they can keep living. Like, I know it seems like quite like the narcissistic flip, but you all need to know how empowered you are, my good sisters and my good sirs. They know how empowered you are. They know that you're the power source and the bank that lights it up. Light it up. And so I don't want you to ever think that you're in a situation with somebody where you should be thanking them for anything other than a lesson. And really, that's never for you to say to them. You take the lesson, you take your lumps, and you keep it moving, cowgirl, okay? But then you start rewriting and start inviting. Heal first, do you. And the reason I say heal first, and the only reason I would say that you would need to heal, is if you actually believe the con that they were the real deal. Most of us know right away. If you're listening to your intuition, think about those first red flags. Think about the things that didn't make sense. Think about the things that they would never do to anybody else. That's always, if I can't make sense in the communication, I will say to the person, is this behavior that you would ever do with someone else? And when pinned against a wall, they usually will give you an answer just out of their hubris, because they can't resist one more opportunity to make you feel like shit. So play into their ego, guys. If you really need to know, or if you really want them to know that the jig was up and I saw you the whole time, play into their ego. A lot of us don't want to do that because it hurts. Like, oh my God, what would make them do this to me? They would do it to anybody that would allow it to be done. And it doesn't mean that they didn't just do it to you, but it means that they can't resist leaning into that ego to say, yeah, I did that purposely. And what are you going to fucking do about it? Because you're invested now. You're going to stay. Where are you going, bitch? You're not going away. That's exactly what they're banking on. I wish I could pass to you the no fucks. I wish I could pass you to the understanding. And maybe for some of you that are just coming across this video, you will get it. Maybe the plane is finally landing. The reason that you don't need to be in mourning, the reason that it doesn't take you a long time to recover, is because it was a long con for them the whole time. They were never trying to be your real lover, sister, brother, friend, co-worker, office person, you name whatever shape-shifty form they came in. They were never integrally trying to be that. They were trying to get close to you. They were trying to figure out how you work. They were trying to figure out your secrets. They were trying to figure out how to dismantle you. That's why they wanted proximal energy, and they wanted to siphon off of whatever they could. Some of y'all are very wealthy out there. I've counseled a lot of you guys that have a pretty penny to your name and are self-made, and some of you got swindled, and we've talked about that. Some of you guys avoided the swindle, and we've talked about that. Some of you guys are middle-class people out there that still got swindled. You see, it doesn't discriminate. It's not even about the finances, guys. It's about, can they take your energy? Can they take your life force? Can they have a power trip where they get to feel better about themselves for a few short minutes in their life because they feel shitty and perhaps jealous, and you name it. Maybe that's another video for another day. This is running long, but you get the point. The only thing you need to understand is it was a love bomb to whatever degree, and they wanted you to forfeit your desires and your deserving to feed them energy and then never ask them for what you were worth And what you earned, what you fed into, they never wanted to be reciprocal with you. If you can know that, and then the second part is they never cared about you, that's why that cold face can come up. That's why when the new supply pops in, they're all of a sudden unavailable and devaluing, and they're treating you. They're teaching you how they want you to accept their bullshit behavior. If you know the whole time that they don't care, and you're just there because you're like, I'm figuring this out for the first time, and we haven't done a session, and you don't want to do a session with me, watch this video repeatedly, because I'm going to tell you, you will finally let it click into your soul. They don't care about thee. They don't care about you. What they want from you is exactly whatever they were getting, and they want it for fucking free. And they're as entitled as a 3-year-old having a tantrum, and how dare you ask for accountability, fairness, communication, or honesty. That is their kryptonite. That makes them melt. That's a molten lava on their skin. And they don't like feeling like they need help. And when you are piercing through and requiring that of them, then they're going to gaslight you more and try to act like what you're asking for was just the biggest thing in the store, and they could never have given that to you. And they said what they said, except they never said shit but about a bunch of gaslighting nonsense. That part. Remember, we all can opt out and opt in. And if someone is not opting out, then it's confusion. I'm going to really try to link that song. You know, I'm terrible at linking. If I don't link it, I'm going to put it in my community page. Or I'll link it below. Whatever. I think you guys need to hear it. You lied about me to all your friends and said that I was obsessed. In a situation that I dealt with specifically, I remember losing my shit because this person was talking about another one of their friends who was talking about, like, I just can't, like, get rid of this guy. Or the girls in, you know, open connections and polyamorous things, which is no judgment on that if it's handled well. But she was talking about how she couldn't get rid of this guy, and you know how they say birds of a feather? It was in that moment that I realized the way that she was talking about other people in her life too. And I was so incensed, and I called her on it. I was like, do you think that your friend's being honest? Do you think that she's being integral? Because it sounds like what she's doing is loving the energy and attention that she's getting from that guy that she just can't seem to get rid of and just doesn't understand why he's there. When every girl here watching this knows what it is to lead someone on and to like the attention, but know that you're not really like that into them. And that's why I say karma comes for us all, because we have all been the villain in someone's story that way. But the way that she was riding at dawn for her friend, and I was like, same. Water finds its equal. That makes so much sense to me. That's the way that you treat people too, actually, and you justify it, and you guys talk about it and exchange laughter and cheers it over wine, that you are wasting that guy's time. And I don't know that guy, but the underdog Mars and Libra in me was like, so she knows how to get rid of him. We all know how to get rid of a guy or a girl. We all know how to be like, I'm not interested. No, thank you, never. Never in this life. Not if you're the last person on earth. Every one of us has the capability of doing that. Even if you're an empath and you're scared of making people mad. Even if you are a people pleaser and you don't like to say no. Every one of us has figured a way to wiggle out of something that we don't want to be in. So as I was observing her co-sign in this bullshit, I was like, you don't see a problem with that? And so many people would have let that go. What business it is of mine? She's just sharing it with me colloquially. It's just a light conversation we're having over some tacos and shit. But I was like seeing her fully, and I was like, bitch, that's wild. Why would you? Do you realize that that's mean to that guy? Do you realize that even if the guy, and they were making fun of the guy, that was the thing that like blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, people can be so cruel. And they would never want that. Both of them have been in situations in their life, and she never validated that or told me that. Just my empath soul knows that because we're human. Where they have been rejected or played with or toyed with or strung along. Both of them. Specifically, I was tapping in more to her friend. And I thought, why would she do that? Because she could. Because absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it made her feel empowered to have someone clamoring over her and investing time and energy into her, and for her to breadcrumb them and string them along. The only thing we leave crumbs and bread for are horses. Don't be anyone's horse. Don't let them breadcrumb you. It's the Knight of Pentacles if you read tarot. Don't let them string you along on some bullshit and waste your time. Because at the end of it, it's only going to be you that wastes your time. And most of us are never going to be in their life to see their karma. My ask always is I want to be far away. I don't care what happens to them. I don't care who rejects them. I don't care how bad it hurts. I don't care how much they cry. I don't need to see any of it. I trust my angels. They don't lie. When they tell me we about to get this bitch, we about to get this guy, we about to get him, sis, I'm like, okay, let's ride. I'm in the other direction. Leave it to your angels and your ancestors and thank them for their protection, because for so many of us, it could have been worse. Do not take on their karmic curse by trying to wait to see. And another thing before we go, stop with the muscle memory. My angels downloaded that to me. One of the things that I don't do at the end of anything is be looking back. And the reason I don't do that is because when I am with people, because of the nature of my chart, 8th house Scorpio, y'all have heard me say it before, is transient. I know that people are not long-term in my life. So very, very rarely will I fully ingratiate them, some more than others, but like on a social media way, because I'm an 80s baby. I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. So I don't look at their things. I don't sign up to all the things. I don't do all of that. Now I know that's not the way of the world for most of you guys, but my muscle memory isn't to be like looking at someone's stuff. So even while I am seeing them, dating them, connecting with them or whatever, they may be like, oh, Monette's not supporting me or whatever. No, Monette's in your life. And when I'm in your life, it's going to feel right. That's my support. My support is actual boots on the ground. I don't need to be liking up all your shit. And it doesn't mean that they don't like mine or that I don't like that or that whatever. But my reciprocity, because I know how integral I am and how my energy is, when I'm in your life, that's the most likes you could get. And what I mean by that is I will affect your actual likes. I affect social media accounts. I affect promotions. I affect a lot of things. I counsel people that I love into their greatness. That is my version of a like, the old-fashioned way. And again, it doesn't mean that whenever I have friends or family or people that I care about be like, I'm watching your video or I watched your video or whatever, I'm always genuinely thankful and surprised, because I literally, after the life I've lived with the abuse and the craziness and the rejection, expect nothing from anybody. But what I don't make a habit of, even my own bestie, is to be liking up every single thing that she posts, because I don't know when the 8th house Scorpio is going to get us both. Does that make sense? Now, I know that may seem like a really kind of post-traumatic stress way to live, but for me it works. I'm not saying that's all of you. That's not where your placement is. That may not work for you. But so many times I wish I could pass it on to my clients. I don't be looking back, because I never trained myself to be there in the first place. Maybe in the very beginning, in the beginning of a limerence, or the beginning of the flirt, the beginning of the get to know, and after that, sayonara ho. I literally don't invest my energy into that, because the best investment of my energy, the best investment of your energy, quite as it's kept, is to be boots on the ground, to be the real friend in someone's life, to be the day-to-day, to connect. That kind of energy is priceless, and for that you cannot pay. You can't buy subscribers. You can't buy like zombie bots. You can't do any of that. Us empaths have this incredible power to affect people's energy. And so when we show up in someone's life, that's the best it will ever be. So a lot of my clients call me and they're like, but I can't help but look, and I looked up his ex, and I'm like, I don't even know how to look. God is so good. It's like God protects me like I'm an innocent child. I don't even know how to do it. I wouldn't even be able to do it. And sometimes, I will tell you, the one time that I did have connections, this was several years ago, my angels, when I was angry as fuck, had me block everything right away. And I remember after my initial passion subsided and I was more vindictive 6 months later, and I wanted to go back and look up the karmic woman and all the petty shit, duality, duplicity, it's in us all, okay? When I got to that point when I was like, I'm gonna fucking da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and all of that, my angels was like, we knew you were gonna get here, and that's why we had you delete everything when you didn't care. So I couldn't even look them up, find them up, get them up, cuss them up, nothing. Because I was obedient to source when it said delete this shit. And at the time, I didn't care. I was like, I'll never do this. Because I didn't do it. I never stalked him the whole time. She was stalking me. She was watching me. I never looked at her shit, and I never cared. But at the time when I wanted to, I couldn't because it wasn't there. Some of y'all need to train yourself out of the stalk, because y'all break your own hearts. When my angels say, we're sending the horsemen their way on some apocalypse shit, when they say that they're sending the 4 horsemen, behold the pale horse their way, I'm turning the other direction. I don't like to see those kind of explosions. Because even if they were treating me like pure shit, I did carry some affection and care for them. I'm an empath, and I actually care. You know, those like, I'm an empath. Of course I care. Of course I care. So I don't want to see what destruction is there. I've had people end up with diseases, and people end up in accidents and like wild, weird shit. That I'm like, I don't even want to. And the only reason I know it is because people in my life would bring me the information, not because I was like, do. So that's for you. That's literally all your message for someone out there. Stop it. Stop, do. Stop with the muscle memory of that. And the next time that you get into a new connection, maybe train yourself to get to just know them and to connect with them, and it not be about your muscle memory and your socials and their followers and all of that shit, because you will live in your head with that, as I've seen so many of my sweet clients do. And it's not even that they're connected anymore to the person. They did the work, they did the salt divorce, they disconnected, they saged, they grounded, they went to the beach, they prayed, they went with their mama, like they did everything. But that social media cord keeps them connected, and then they're looking back. Block them immediately. Block them while you're vitriolic. Block them when you don't care. Block them when you realize they conned you on the day that you're like, this fucking con artist. Block them every fucking where, okay? Block them on the payment apps. block them in heaven. Block them on earth. Because by the time you might get to petty, and again, I've only gotten there one time in my life, by the time you might get to petty, then you can't even do nothing. You just have to be like, I don't know. But if you're used to stalking them while you're with them and not showing up in their life, that will be something that lives in their head and it won't have anything to do with them. That's on you. So for whoever needs to hear that, don't be mad, sis. I love you. But it's because I love you. And also because I know the freedom in not being able to fucking check. It's so nice to just be like, why would you want to bring yourself that pain? You know? Just move on. Thank you. Next. Be so fucking grateful for your ex. They were there to bring you lessons. You like them for whatever reason. Narcissists are very charming. Low toxic people are charming as fuck too. They have redeeming qualities. There's a couple of things I'll miss about some of the soulmate encounters I had as well. But what I don't miss is being in an emotional hell. In conclusion, it's Eric Clapton. Sheryl Crow wrote the song that we all heard if you were in the 90s. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I've gotten used to spending. Did you know when you go, you're my favorite mistake. I can't sing, but y'all know the lyrics. And the piss it did take. Eric Clapton was this highbrow story musician. And Cheryl was this young, budding country star and songwriter. And she wrote really famous song, All I Want to Do Is Have Some Fun. Listen, she had a feeling she wasn't the only one. And Eric wanted to have some fun with her too. He wanted her young, hot body and her muse-like energy. But he was professorial and sharp and cutting. Maybe he was just naturally an asshole. He was exacting, and she said she felt like he was embarrassed to have her around his ahoy polloi upper echelon musician friends, because he was friends with like the Beatles and like Keith Richards and Aerosmith and the best of all of these rock star musicians. And she was this young, pretty thing, still making her way with a few hit songs and a smile on her face. And he treated her pretty poorly when they were with each other day to day. I don't know if he's a narcissist, but we can say by Cheryl's testimony he was at the very least toxic. And that he was vamping on her youthful, muse-like energy until he didn't want it. And when they broke up, she wrote that song that it was about him. Because sometimes empaths, we condition ourselves to getting used to a bad day. And not every part of the day is bad. Did they make love? Of course they did. Did they write music together? I'm sure they did. Did they drink wine and laugh into the night? I'm sure they did. In any soulmate connection, in any twin flame connection, toxic as those may be, in any ex or ex bestie, you had good times. And I always like to memorialize that. I think of all of my favorite things. I always tell the person when I know that I'm ready to leave, long before I leave, because I play when I realize it's a long con, I'm like, I see you and I raise you. Not just to stay there for funsies, but I'm doing my intel and making sure too. But I start to compliment them on the things that I will miss about them. And they will realize later that I always had other spiritual work to do. While they were on demon time, I was on angel time, doing me so that I could help you. But I thank them while I'm with them for the things I'll appreciate, the things I'll miss, the things that I think their other exes are stupid for forfeiting. And it might be a thing I might miss too. But it's not worth my sanity. I don't want to be Sheryl Crow writing a song. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I've gotten used to spending? And any of those connections, I can recall how being around someone would lower my vibration because they would withhold, withdraw. They would figure out the thing that I wanted. The only thing. And I'm not talking about sex, guys. Everybody makes things sexual. For me, communication, companionship, and physical connection, like a cuddle and all that stuff, those are my paramount things. And I had people in my life that I would withhold from because they were a spiritual fucking mess and I couldn't mix my energy with as a spiritualist. And it's funny, I've had situations that have mirrored that ex, but on the flip side. And they would figure out the thing that I needed. Communication, clarity, honesty, no gaslighting, no games. I don't want to play, no games. I'm thinking of Sirianni. Yeah. And they would be like, how can I make her feel the most like shit? The one thing that she wants, the one thing that she has spelled out for me that she needs, again, that's not just sexual, I'm going to withhold it. Because that was the game they play. So that I would be in my head like, why would you treat me this way when we vulnerably chatted and you were like, I'm down and I got you and whatever. It's because that's what fucked up people do. Hurt people like to hurt. And if they think they can bully you, they will. So I decided not to be Sheryl Crow. I decided not to be Alanis Morissette and take that jagged little pill. A lot of people stay because they've invested time. And they're like, well, maybe one day on some like arranged marriage shit that the person's going to... Girl, isn't this so cute, y'all? Y'all, Marilyn with her little dress flip. So fucking cute. Anyway, a lot of people stay on some... oh my God, Marilyn stayed with a bunch of assholes. That part. My God, my angels never miss. I thought it was because my nose was running. A lot of people stay on some Marilyn Sheryl Crow shit. And oh God, this is such a... I thought it was done. This is a perfect thing. Let me take a sip. Let me tell you this. Marilyn Monroe was infamous for surrounding herself very much like Eric Clapton was with intellectuals. She really, because she was like the archetype of the dumb blonde, she really liked really smart intellectual men. And they were always intimidated by her beauty and also very worried because they were misogynist as fuck that she would emasculate them because men would be attracted to her, that other men would want her, men were abusive with her. The love of her life, that actually was the love of her life, and her soulmate and all the things. Joe DiMaggio beat her, broke up with her, and then still took flowers to her grave because of the guilt he felt, because he always was in love with her, but his ego couldn't handle being with Marilyn. Oh, this is a girl! Look at how Jesus just did it. I thought I was blowing my nose, but they said, you're not finished. This tissue box is a representation of what happens to a lot of you. You may be one of the most beautiful or enigmatic or talented, you name it. Marilyn was a lot of things. What are you? Maybe it's not just conventional beauty. Maybe you're smart. Maybe you write code. Maybe you're into whatever, crypto. I don't know. You do something magical. And for the people in your life that you've been in, it's one of the most magical things they've ever seen. And all they wanted to do was diminish it, because how dare you be this and then also live your dreams? And they find a way to devalue you. Every one of those men that was with Marilyn had her up on their motherfucking wall, and they all wanted her, and to their knees they would fall. They promised her the world. They would bring her in. They would beguile her, and then they would treat her like sin. Each and every one of them. She went from man to man, just hoping that someone wasn't going to diminish her intellect, of which she worked very hard on fortifying, and make her just her beauty and her beautiful boobs and her gorgeous hourglass body. And yes, that's how she made her money, because God bless her agency. But that's what happens to you empath beauties out there of all stripes, shades, big backs to small backs and ethnicities, is that people that are lower vibrational come in and they're very attracted to your sparkling light. They see you and they want to get it right. They want to be close to you. And then as soon as you do, they start to immediately devalue you, pick you apart, and find out where your insecurities may lie, of which we all have them. But they had them too. Were you pointing out their insecurities as you could do? Couldn't you? Couldn't you? Couldn't you write down a list of bullshit that you were dealing with that person? Bullshit that no one's ever told them about. Bullshit that they've never seen, because that's our gift, is perception. And for me specifically, is what I do for a living. But I was not offering up every criticism I had. But they did that to bring you down bad. In my cases, in my past, with the people I've dealt with, I saw them clearly. I knew why they were dispatched in and how I could help them grow spiritually and emotionally and actually and just be more couth in the fucking world. But I did not tell them everything I observed. When people get a Marilyn in their life, they want that archetype, but they have the Madonna whore complex. And what that means is that, well, that's another video for another day. But to a certain degree, it means, can they love and respect the person that is their fantasy? That's a lot deeper than that, y'all, but we'll leave that there. That's a whole nother psychology class. But that's how they treat you. And they try to leave you in despair and devalue you. But they were so clamoring to get close to you, and they liked you so much, and you were so interested, and they were so tempted to touch, even if it isn't about touch, but they were tempted to get close enough to you, to be proximal, to breathe your air, to be in your energy, because you were magic in whatever capacity. And just like Marilyn, she had a lot of bad days that she got used to spending with people who pushed her to an early ending. And like Cheryl, who wrote the song, she disembarked and got out of that relationship. But it doesn't mean that she didn't love Eric Clapton or being in his energy, because she could see how they could have been a power couple if he wasn't in ego and and committed to treating her like shit. His ego mattered more. She said his what's the word? His ego and his reputation mattered more. And so he could never treat her like she was good enough. And as much as she wanted to be around him, how many of us have been there with someone, you feel all of these feelings around them, and you're like, why do I feel like this around you? When on the surface you're saying one thing, but it's another thing that you actually do. Message, empath, pay attention. That's your higher self talking to you. Get the fuck out of there. Be like Cheryl, write a song. Okay, channel it into music. Channel it, be Taylor Swift. And if you're not going to do that, channel it into your art, your journal, whatever. Maybe nobody ever has to know about it or see it. But don't stay because you've invested in time and you're afraid to fritter it away. I'm too old. I have to start over. I'm too young. I don't know how to do this. It's my first relationship. I don't know how to have another one. I've heard everything under the sun from you amazing women and men out there. But the truth is, you're never too old or too young to start off with someone who actually cares. Remember what I said, they never liked you. And they showed you that while they were with you, that they actually didn't like you. Because and while they can argue you and gaslight you till the fucking cows come home, someone that loves you and likes you respects you too. And that means they respect you enough to be honest with you and to tell you the absolute truth. It means that they respect you enough to give you what you deserve. And if they can't give it to you, they give you a damn good reason as to why. Not just because I wanted to or I never intended to. And of course I lied. Like, narcissists are wild. Toxic people are wild. And they'll look at you and smile and they dare you to feel a way. But they would be devastated if someone treated them that way. But don't worry, behold the pale horse. People are on the way to dish out exactly the same games that they like to play. They'll just be playing them better. We're not really equipped for that. That's not our thing. You don't want to be in the mud with pigs. You want to be wrestling around and one-upping them and playing fucking reindeer games with them. Remember, they never liked you, and you can disconnect a lot easier. And also, you don't want to be Cheryl. Did you know when you go, it's the perfect ending to the bad day I've gotten used to spending? That means it got really bad. Every day he'd come over, they hang out, they make love, but sometime during the day he would devalue her, reject her, do some bullshit that had her in her head for her to write that song. I always think of that whenever I'm in a situation where I'm like, this person doesn't like me. I think of Sheryl Crow. And I think, like, I don't want to write You Ought to Know, Alanis Morissette. I don't want to get to the place where I hate this person and I could write a book about their bullshit. There's one person that happened with, and that was my ex, okay? So whenever I see little things, like, coming my way like that, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. One book is enough, okay? One book, uno book, about some bullshit is enough. And that was my scientific offering to the world. Anyway, guys, that's what I have for you. I'm prattling now. Please do not be like this girl, and do not be like Sheryl Crow. Know your beauty, and that people will want to get close to you just to fucking make you hate yourself. Because they don't like that you're that pretty, funny, interesting, smart, whatever. Just so they can gossip about you with their fucking small-ass community. That, when I say smallest, I mean small-minded. I'm not like, you know, their community can be large or small, but the people that they're gossiping with, and they're like, I don't know, we don't like her. You know how many people were talking shit about Marilyn? Fuck her. She's probably a slut. And how many men has she slept with? Marilyn was just out here trying to struggle and survive like the rest of us, okay? That part. But that happens to all of us empaths. Every one of us will have like a small-minded ass community that's like, oh, she must be doing witchcraft, and all that bullshit. People are haters, especially when they don't understand something. Especially when you're magical and you're riding on your horse and you're like a breath of fresh air, and people like you don't ever come around there. They will do everything they can to get you out of the paint, including lying your name and including a lie to your face. Okay? You deserve everything you fucking deserve. You're worth it, and you're amazing. And I love you. Come back and join me next time, guys, and we'll continue to evolve together.